Hello and welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today I'm presenting to you a soap mesh bag. And this is a pattern that has been altered by Mary Walters. This is from my original pattern, the mesh bag that you can get on my YouTube site, and I've also got on my website with the complete pattern. But she had adapted it and made it into a soap bag, so I said, you know what? Do you mind if I put this on YouTube and make a tutorial? And she said, sure, that'd be awesome. So we got together, and here is the pattern. I've loom knitted this one up. It's got a soap bar inside, and it's a drawstring top. You can just open it up, and you've got your soap inside. And it's supposed to lather up pretty good, and what you want to do is do a couple of these for yourself and your loved ones, and obviously it just be your own personal bar, and this can be washed. I used, in this case, Cottonese, which is from Line Brand. It's actually a 50-50 blend of cotton and acrylic. It's actually quite soft. I don't think it's very scratchy, so I'm just using these two colors here today, and it doesn't take very much, and you could put, you know, any bar of soap in. And we'll just set this back here for you to see this. And you could also take some scented candle chips and put them inside, or potpourri, and use that as a little sachet bag, or use it for a little bitty gift bag, or putting in some jewelry to give to somebody. So there's lots of different lots of different things that you can use for this mesh little bag. So we are going to start off with your tools. Now you're going to need your two colors of your cotton, or one color, two strands held as one. And today I'm using the 12 peg Nifty Knitter. This is called the Bloom Loom. And there's actually a blue version of it as well that looks a little bit different. You notice I've got this peg out here and these funny little colors. What this is this Bloom Loom is notorious for all the pegs falling out constantly. So what I actually did is, I mean, they fall out like really easy. So I've cut up these strands, just two of the color that I'm using, and instead of gluing them in, which could become permanent if I actually wanted to have this removable, say I'm doing a certain kind of flower or something that I want to be able to take these off later. So I'm just going to take it and push it in, and easier said than done. This one's actually giving me a little bit of trouble. Make sure my groove is pointed out and push it in. Okay, and if it's not even, you could just kind of push it down. So I've got that in there, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess. And if you wanted to, if you're going to be alternating knit and pearls or things like that, you could actually alternate the colors, because you can see the colors sticking out. So I'm just trimming this off. It's not really part of the tutorial, but it wouldn't be a good tutorial if I didn't mention that this loom kind of has that problem. So you can see that I did almost every single one of them, and they're not falling out. So let's get started with this mesh bag. And I will make the pattern available on a link wherever Mary has it placed, or if she hasn't put it on my website, you'll find it down below in the comments, in the descriptions. And please leave your comments below and let me know what you think about the bag. Okay, we're going to start with a slip knot. And bring your back over your front and do it one more time. And we're going to tighten it up. Place it on any of these loops here, any of these pegs. And we put that tail on the inside, and we're going to wrap around until we get 5. And now we're going to go back and knit over, and we've cast it on the first row. After you've cast that on, you're going to E-wrap and knit over 10 rows. We're going to wrap around, knit these off, and we'll meet back up after you've done 10 rows. Just did the 10th row, and now we're going to stretch this bottom across the back here. And if you've watched my other video, this is just basically like the other bag. It's just a very small version. And we're going to take these loops and just pop them over, and you'll find that a couple of them are like really easy to find. And then just kind of start finding these next ones and go along. And remember, you've got the cast it on the slip knot here, so we want to find that, grab it, and put that on. It's going to be a little tighter than the others. And just go along, get all the edges on. Let me turn this over, make sure we've got them. And then start grabbing the sides. Actually double these up. Okay, and go the other side, and you'll be able to double up these side too. So there should be a couple with duplicates on there. And now that you've got that on there, you don't have to worry about this little straggler. It can stay inside, you can weave it in. But for now, just leave it there. And now we're going to push that down and find our working yarn. And we're going to E-wrap one row all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to knit over. And if you have two loops on one, that's okay. Just wrap that on over until you only have one loop on the peg. Or this is my working. There we go. Okay. So now that we've done this row here for the base of the bag, now we've got that all on, and we're going to start our purl row. And I haven't pushed this down so that we can purl. So this working yarn is coming out of this peg, so we're going to go to the next one and purl. Take your working yarn and put it underneath the loops, pull it up, make a new loop, pull off the old and put on the new, pull up the slack, and we're going to work our way around doing purls. If you need that slowed down, be sure and just you can pause and rewind, or you can check out my video on how to purl. But I'm going to go a little faster because I'm assuming that you may have watched that before. So go ahead and go around, do 2 rows, and meet us back up after your 2 rows of purl. Alright, we're on our last purl here. That was the second row. And now our instructions say to E-wrap 5 rows and knit over. So we're going to go ahead and push that down, wrap over your row here, and do 5 of those. And I'm just going to kind of talk while I wrap here instead of pausing the video. But I'm just sitting here doing this and thinking, I know that you can do it. I know Mary has done what she called a camper caddy for putting your toothbrush in there. I think that's a great idea. Basically, you just take this pattern, go ahead and knit over now. You want to take this pattern and just continue with these. Once you get to the 5 knit rows, you can see how much you might want to add, especially after you do your first one in practice. But you might add another 10 rows, 5 to 10 rows. I'm not sure. I'd have to test it out. But keep adding them for length. And then you can make your own little caddy, and you can make it for all the members of your family. It'd be great when you're going camping or going on a trip, an overnight thing to Grandma's. I'd make them for presents for the kids, but make them all in different colors. Everybody in the family picks out their favorite color. If they like the same color, maybe you could add a second or third one in there. And I would suggest that maybe you do it in 3 strands. And make sure it's got cotton in it, cotton blend or something, just kind of breathes, and then it can be washable. Okay, now we're going on our second row here. And but I probably put 3 because this is going to be, if you can see from here, you can see my white bar of soap from underneath. This is actually a square bar. Here's a dove bar behind it, but you can see through it. It's more of a mesh, and so if you want to make it tighter, you could add more strands and just kind of experiment on what you think the right amount is. It's just a couple ideas, but you could certainly put your toothpaste in it and the toothbrush. Okay, so continue knitting your 5 rows and meet us back up. Okay, so instead of pushing down after you've done your 5 rows, go ahead and you're going to purl 2 more rows. So put your working strand under and we're going to purl again. Go ahead and do those 2 rows and meet us back up. We're on our last purl, and now we're going to do 2 rows of E-wrap and knitting over. And we are nearly there. We'll bind off after these 2 rows, and we're going to do a different technique. Go ahead and continue. Meet us back up after your 2 rows. Alright, we're back after we've completed our last 2 E-wrap rows and we're ready to bind off. You can see the caddy is already taken shape here. And just to show you right here, this is where you had the 5 rows of E-wrap, and you got your 2 purl guarded by 2 more purl, and then the 2 E-wrap, which you can't see. Now, if you were to make this for like a toothbrush, say this is your toothbrush, which would probably be a little bit longer than this crochet hook, you could put it in here and see how much more you might need to knit. And since we already had these 2 rows of purl and E-wrap, you could add 3 more rows of E-wrap and add 2 more purl rows and add 2 more E-wrap. So add 3 E, 2 P, and then 2 E, and then see where you are, and then you could probably bind off. It'd probably be just enough. So that's another way you could do that. And we are going to do, it's just like the basic bind off, and I kind of like to call it a crochet bind off, except there already is one. So this is a loose basic bind off. This way you don't have to use that super stretchy bind off, which I find can be confusing for people. This one is going to imitate this. I noticed when I did the basic bind off on this, it made my opening very small. And I'm just going to stretch this back out and see how it's like stretchy, and it has this nice sort of crocheted looking edge. I did not crochet that. I didn't add I didn't go back and add that on there. So it's actually a little bit wider, and so I think it'd be fantastic for making more of these little bags, and then it kind of poofs up at the top, which is really quite nice. So let me show you how I did that. And you don't need a crochet hook to do it. Although we will when we make our chain here. Go ahead and take your working strand from wherever it's coming out and go ahead and wrap that peg and knit over, and then go to the peg to the left, or this is the way, this is the opposite way I was working, so I'm just going to go around this way. You can go the other way if it's more comfortable for you, but this is the way I'm comfortable. So I'm going to E-wrap that, and then I'm going to move it over, pull my working strand, and I'm going to lift the bottom over the top loop. And normally I would move this over here and then move on, but I'm going to do one more wrap. So this is where the extra crochet part comes in. So I'm adding that extra wrap, which is going to add an extra crochet looking loop on the outside. I'm going to take this and move it over. So this is the number 1 peg moving to the number 2 peg. And so now the number 2 peg is now the number 1. So you're going to continually be moving these around. So go ahead and wrap the new number 2 peg, knit over, pick it up, and move it over to 1. And pull it tighter a little bit. And knit the bottom loops over the top loops. And remember, before moving on, wrap again. So that's going to be your crochet part. Pick it up and move it over. Okay, wrap number 2, knit off, move, wrap 1, knit over 1, and then wrap 1 again. And move it over. Do that again. Wrap 2. Move it over to 1. Sorry, I'm getting caught in my strand here. Tighten that up a little bit. Knit over. And you can tell if you get lost for a second, you can look back here and tell if you see 2 loops that are next to each other like this, that means you didn't do your extra wrap. So go ahead and wrap it. Sometimes I get distracted. My kids will come in the room or whatever, and I'll go, wait a minute, did I do that? So see, I'm going to look back down and see we just see this one part that's wrapped here. So it's safe to move over. So go ahead and pick it up. Move it over to your new number 1. Tighten up just a little bit. And wrap that. And when I say tighten, I just mean snug. I don't mean like pull it really hard or anything. Okay. And now we're going to wrap it. Moving it over, wrap the next peg, and wrap that, move it over, wrap it, move it, knit it, wrap it. Move it over, wrap, whoops, and that's the only one that I did not fix there. It's quite fun. Okay. All right. And knit that over. Wrap it. Move it to this lucky peg right here. Wrap. Move. Oh, goodness. Okay, knit over. Wrap it. Good gravy. Oh, move it away from that awful peg. Okay. Wrap it. Knit it. Move it. Oh, don't lose it. We are almost done. Okay, knit over. One more wrap here. Moving it again. I'm sorry if I'm not watching the camera very well. I'm getting caught up in getting this fun project finished. Okay, move this one over. And don't forget to knit it over first. And then wrap it. Knit it over. Okay, and then we are going to pull this off the loom. And we're going to pull this out like this. I'm going to cut it. Now you can safely pull the other one off. And you can see here where our beginning was. And then we've got our end. Go ahead and, oops, take my crochet hook. And we want to wrap it and pull that in. And you can go ahead and go again and make you a knot. Get that nice and tight. And just go ahead and do this inside out now. And you go ahead and weave this in. And I like to do, especially because this is going to get, like, this is pretty utilitarian, it's going to get used a lot. So I'm going to make a couple of little slip knots in here. I'm going to pull these through, making a couple of knots. And get that going. And so you can continue to wrap this in and get it really woven in the design and on the inside. And so you can do that on this one too. Just kind of weave it in. A lot of times I'll go along the line of where the purl is, and it tends to hold in there very nicely. Okay, so after you've done that a few times, you can, once you've got it in there, you can clip it off. Oh, sorry. Okay, you got it in. Go ahead and clip that. Go ahead and get this one in here. I'm just going to clip this one. Okay, normally I do a little bit better job. This is just a tutorial. So, okay, so I'm going to flip that around, and now I've got this sort of little sock. It almost looks like a little mitten. And you've got this really nice loose top here. It still looks nice. And then you notice this, it's kind of meshy looking. So what we're going to do is chain 50, and then we're going to weave it in here and make a continuous loop. So get your yarn back out again. All right, we're going to chain 50. I've got a size K hook, just because you can see it against these colors, but actually the way I did this other one over here, I used an I with these two strands. So, and these strands, by the way, they're designated as a number 4 medium, but anyway, it's going to be hard to see this, so I'm just using the white for now. But use whatever hook that you like the best, and if you've got 3 strands, then use whatever works best for you. So we're going to chain 50 and then come back and meet me up in a minute. Okay, I just chained 50, and we're going to pull that out, cut that, and now we got this nice long strand, and we're going to just go ahead and just start anywhere. And I'm just going to start actually where we had originally began. And we're going to feed this through. You might need your crochet hook to help you. And feed that through. So we're going in between these 2 stitches, and then come along. Yep. I did right underneath. So just come right along this top part and pull it in and out in between that top row and the bound off edge. So I'm finding these 2 rows here. I'm not the rows, but these 2 stitches, and then I'm putting it in between. Okay? And then just every one, just weaving from the outside going to the inside, from the outside, inside, outside, inside, and just going all the way around. If you think you need like a longer strand, then do that. If you don't, you can make it shorter. You could pull out some of these holes here. Okay, so you should, if you had started on the outside and worked your way inside at first, when you come to this last one and you pull it through, you should meet back up on the outside. See how that worked? And so now what we're going to do is just tie these together and weave them together, and then now you've got a drawstring little bag. And you can even like make it really thick and make a little change purse for a little girl or boy. But you know, just have fun with this, and this would be a good little gift. You could start making these now for stocking stuffers for people, or making a whole bunch of them for your trips. Fill them with little goodies, stick them in your purse for snacks. Anyway, so I hope you guys had fun with this. Don't forget, you want to tie these two together and weave them in, and that's basically it. Thank you again for joining me at GoodKnit Kisses, and thanks to Mary Walters for making the change to my pattern that is so fun and sharing it with others. You guys have a great day and happy looming!